What's up, y'all? It's Janae.
And Theo.
And welcome back to Black Vision Network.
Yes, so today we are talking about our keys to wealth. And we thought this would be a very timely topic. There's a lot of discussion going around about a looming recession. So before we even get into our keys to wealth, I wanted to give you a few tips on what we think is best to help you kind of navigate the upcoming recession. So obviously saving is going to be a big deal. This is a good time for you to start, thinking about your purchases a little more heavily, not making big purchases, setting money to the side, because this will also be a great opportunity to get into the stock market. So the stock market has been a little up lately, but as we continue to move towards the recession, it will continue to go down. And as you are able to set money aside, it can help you create a great base for your investing portfolio. So saving, preparing for investment, and also I would say kind of refurnishing your relationships. Something that has been incredible for us has been the relationships that we have around us. I like to think of like even just 2 years ago, we dang near due to circumstances had to start from scratch. And over the past 2 years, a lot of friends have become family. Friends that were there have, shown and stepped up in ways that we couldn't even imagine. So your community that's around you is going to be essential during this time, as things, continue to go.
Yeah, so that's a little bit about what we're talking about. So get your drinks or some water. This is just juice. And get your drinks because this is going to be a conversational thing. It's not too serious. If you feel uneasy talking about money like me, then you should probably really watch this. And yeah, so coming into this, I was like, how are we even qualified? But then I was just like, we are definitely in a better situation than a lot of people, close people, family, people, friends I know. And we're not where we want to be, but we're in a good place. And I'll always be grateful for that. So yeah, these will just be some of the things that we like to do. And I think he gives you it's definitely good because it's two different mindsets going into it. He's the more, planning, strategic, and I'm the more carefree. Let's have fun.
The balance.
Yeah.
So yeah, these will be our keys, the kind of habits that I determined that made things a little easier. But kind of to your point, one of the first things that I think we personally had to overcome, and something that's hard to overcome in the Black community when it comes to money management and acquiring wealth, is the mindset that you have about money. So you kind of talked about that. So what were some of the things that you had to change about your money mindset, things that you had to overcome?
So yeah, definitely, I guess they call it shadow work. That's what the kids are calling it now, mainstream, whatever. But basically, everybody has a different name for shadow work, but it's basically taking a look at the past, your underlying unconscious beliefs that you have about money. And they're usually set by your environment when you're younger, your parents, and how you saw your parents deal with money and all of that. And so for me, it was always money was always there, and I could do what I really wanted to do, but I couldn't do it. Do it. You can go on vacation, but then there's going on a luxury vacation. There's getting food on the table, and then there's eating well. And I feel it was always the bare minimum. I can get in the door, but it's not I can really enjoy everything inside the door. And so that was one thing I told myself. It was just oh, if you're gonna do that, first of all, nobody in your family can do it, so why would you do it? And then it was if it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not. I have no control over it. If I need to do more stuff, I need to make more money, not. And then now it's kind of transitioning to, why would God give me more if I can't even be a good steward of what I have right now? So it's kind of a test. You can't maintain being a millionaire if you can't maintain being a $60K a year. If you can't manage that well, then how do you think managing millions? You probably get into bigger problems, bigger debt. even worse. So
it almost sounds like an issue of worth, of overcoming a feeling of I'm worth more money coming to me, being worthy of these things, more luxury, if you will.
pretty much. That's like one of my affirmations. Like, I am enough.
Yeah.
I'm enough, like, as I am right now. And that's still something.
That's a big time, because in the Black community especially, we deal with kind of a crabs in the barrel mindset, or having to fight for scraps. So when you come into more money, reaping the fruits of your labor, it's kind of like you don't know what to do with it. It's all brand new to you, and so figuring out and telling yourself that you're worth these things, it's okay for you to want and expect good things to happen to you, is something that we have to change internally in ourselves. I would say one of the biggest things for me, mindset wise, was overcoming my lack mentality, kind of what I was just speaking on. So growing up financially, I had to do a lot of things for myself. So it was, when it came to money, I was very like, what is the guy, Scrooge? Dude, like I'm holding on like Mr. Krabs, all of these, like Julius from Everybody Hates Chris. I'm counting every like penny that's going through, because at the end of the day, when something financially comes up, whether it was paying for school, paying for my meals, my housing, whatever have you, from an early age, those were things I had to take care of myself. So I can't just be out here willy-nilly letting things float by. So I really had a lack mentality of, oh, if you give me $20, I thought it was something to brag on if I can make this $20 stretch for 2 weeks, instead of, now I'm coming into more money. I don't need to have that mindset. I can put my money into stocks, or put my money into a savings account that will give me a return on investment, rather than stuffing it under a mattress, for example. And so that was something I had to change, kind of freeing up, being willing to spend things on myself, even on the people that I love, and just making my money be able to work for me, is something that I had to overcome. Yeah. So that kind of, I guess, transitions us into the first key that I want to talk about when it comes to managing money and acquiring wealth is budgeting. It's very important when it comes to money management. Like Janae said, even if you're a millionaire and you can't be a steward of what you have now, it's not going to help anything. A lot of people, especially in our community, think the key to solving all your problems is just more money. But if you don't budget, if you don't have a plan for your money, then increasing your income, you're just going to be in the same bad position, bad debt, bad money decisions if you don't have a plan for your money. So everything starts with budgeting. And so
I think it starts with your mindset, and then like realize, like me, I realized like I wasn't comfortable unless I knew where my money was coming and where it was going. And if it's just coming and go however it pleases, like it makes me uneasy. Like I get scared to look at my bank account. But then setting a plan, and like that's just like everywhere in life. Like if you don't, what is it called? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's how you go. Okay. So like, I think it is important to do that.
Yes.
Especially with your money.
Yes. Because you want to control your expenses. So I guess we can kind of I can talk about how I approach budgeting. So I lay out the plan of everything. So you have bills, obviously. You have housing, utilities, things of these natures, fixed things that are going to go out when you get your paycheck. So you obviously want to plan for that. But it's also important that you plan to set aside a portion of your money for yourself. And one of the main ways that I reward myself is through savings. So saving to just have savings. Obviously, you have to save for retirement. Saving for a house, vacation, whatever have you.
Your eyelashes done, your hair done, nails done.
Absolutely. You want to pay yourself, reward yourself for the work that you do. You don't just want all your money coming in to go to bills and then the rest be gone. So plan for your fixed, what you need to pay for, your bills, and then plan a portion for savings. And then what's left over is what I would call auxiliary expenses. So those are the portion of your paycheck that's left over for eyelashes, going out to eat, going out for a night with friends, things of that nature.
But I will say, like, recession times is a time to get creative with that auxiliary money, because hair, nails, lashes, like, well, maybe not lashes, but your hair and nails, you can probably do those yourself, and you don't got to spend $70, $120 every 2 weeks to do that, when you could maybe go once a month and then refresh it yourself later on. Try to like shave that money off somehow. I will say you can get a gel K on Amazon for like $50, and it'll save you 60 trips to the salon. Like, I haven't gone to the salon to get my fingernails done in forever. I do get my toes because they gotta scrub my calluses off, but and that also is like kind of like a treat, is to go to the pedicure, go get a pedicure. So definitely try to, like, I know Theo because his own hair, so like that's another thing, because men gotta get their hair cut more often.
It used to be, I mean, before the pandemic, that was $20 every 2 weeks. I didn't see people charging $40, $50 now. Ain't no way you
I retwist his hair.
Yeah, ain't no way you getting $100 out of me every month.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy.
But yeah, optimizing the auxiliary funds is the key to effective budgeting. So you want to set, obviously, a savings goal for yourself. So I set a yearly savings target. That's how I determine that category. But it's very important that you monitor. So I set a spending limit for myself within these auxiliary funds. And I hold myself to that by being mindful of what those limits are, setting locks on different cards, reminders for myself that, you've reached your limit here, and things of that nature. What are some budgeting tricks and tips that you have?
Well, I have to emphasize the locking of the card, because I didn't even know that was possible until they told me that, like, maybe like 2 months ago. I had a credit card for over 2 years now, I think. 3. That's crazy. And yeah, locking, and then definitely having like a plan. And another thing is, when you're saving money, don't put the money in your debit savings. Put it in a totally separate savings account. Yep. Like an online banking account. Like I use Vio Bank. He told me about that one. You can search anywhere that has the highest interest rate.
High yield savings accounts.
Yes, what he said. So like making that money like untouchable, or you have to have a huge barrier to even get it. Like making it easy to get it, you're gonna spend it. I'm gonna spend it. So like having a separate place, like if you're in a money market account, having a separate money market account, or even taking advantage of your employee, like your employer. You can have HR just like transfer the money directly to your savings account, so you don't even see it. You don't have to do that step yourself. You just have them do it. You never see the money. That account just builds every paycheck without you having to look at it. Every time it's a pleasant surprise. So yeah, and then another thing is, you do not, like, I forgot what you said. I need to write this down, but like sometimes it can be intimidating to have a big budget. You can be like, well, I want all these nice things. Well, you have to know exactly what you do want, because instead of saying I can't afford it, like, rich dad, poor dad, say how can I afford it,
Yep.
It's like, I want a new dresser. Well, I'm not going to go on NebraskaFurnitureMart.com and get that $3,000 dresser. I'm going to go shop around, go to the Goodwill, see what they got. Maybe have to go to a thrift store. But like, hey, this thing is $600, but it's been in your window for the last 4 months. Maybe you can give it to me for $400. Yeah. Okay, that's like ideal situation. But you have to like be able to bargain. And once you have like a clear goal in mind, it's like almost impossible for you not to get it. And I think the real goal is clarity, because people aren't clear on where their money is going. Like me, I wasn't clear on where my money is going. So of course, it's not what I want it to be. I don't have as much savings as I want. And then like, just getting clear about it, and like getting over that anxiety that you get from all that time of not knowing. And then the clarity, the mental clarity and peace you feel once you do know, it's worth all the trouble.
Yeah, I mean, it can't be emphasized enough how much goal setting plays a part in budgeting, because you should always have an emergency savings of funds. So I think the recommendation is at minimum 6 months of your household expenses put away. I, for myself, am doing a minimum of 12 months. But also understanding, like she said about the dresser, understanding what things cost. For example, at your income levels, your household income levels, how much savings do you need to purchase a house at a favorable rate? How much is that move gonna cost? How much is that large purchase gonna cost? How much do you need to have set aside? How much time is it going to take to set that aside? Set yourself accountable. I have a note sheet of what I expect to have saved by the end of the year, and I'm tracking my progress, what I'm currently doing against what my goal is. And I kind of, like, if I take away from that, it's like, oh, I owe myself this $50 I took out of my savings goal. So you want to be able to track that and have a concrete end goal in mind, so that it's physically attainable and you're consistently holding yourself accountable. And then, like, those separate accounts, like having a separate accounts for your emergency savings fund, your bills, just your bills, your investment accounts is going to save you a lot of time and calculations that you physically have to go through. Another thing, I guess the second key would be effectively managing credit. So credit is something that, especially for me personally, I got a terrible start off of.
It's what a lot of Black people go through. Share, I think it would be worth sharing.
Yeah, I guess, credit is something that's kind of like, oh my God, credit is like the devil. Like, I've physically heard that said in Black families. But a lot of the fear around it and lack of knowledge comes from just that lack of knowledge, not knowing how to effectively manage and use credit. And so when it's used and mismanaged and bad things happen, it's just warded off as, oh, that's something I don't want to deal with. That's something that's not good. But to keep it blunt, I was stolen from. There was somebody who had access to credit in my name, used it and didn't pay it back. So when I first graduated school and was looking to use my credit to have a place to stay, my credit was completely shot. And so over the past couple years, I've been able to, understand credit, understand how to leverage it, and understand how to recover my score. So I guess we can start with the 5 things that make up your credit score, because a lot of people don't know this, and kind of go through the importance of each one.
Sure.
Well, I think it's important to know, because a lot of people will say or look at updates on their credit score and understand what happened.
There's 5 things really quick. Credit utilization, how much you're using it, how much of that total that you're given are you actually using. Like, if you're given $2,000, are you using all $2,000 or is it $20?
Yep.
And then there's payment history. How long have you had your credit? And is it years? Is it 2 days? Oh wait, no. Payment history is how much have you been?
Payment history is
credit history is how long you've had it,
yep.
And then payment history is if you pay on time or not. Like, are you on top of your bills and stuff? And then the 4th one is the amount that you're given, and then
of debt actually that you have.
Of debt, okay. Well, maybe we should spend more time on this. The amount of debt, and then the 5th is a mix of credit.
So that's the different types of accounts that you have. So, like, for example, your credit card is one type of account. Your vehicle loan is like an installment loan. That's a different type. Your mortgage, it improves your score if you have different accounts. For example, not just 5 credit cards, but you have 2 loans out and a credit card, for example.
Yeah. So the heaviest hitters are the credit utilization, the payment history, and the amount of debt you have. Those are all about 30 to 35% of what your credit score is composed of.
Yeah. So the key really here is to understand how much credit you have and make sure that they say the recommended is 30%, but you really want to be using far less. I would say I've seen the greatest improvement in my credit score at keeping my utilization between 5 and 10% consistently. So a lot of people that have mismanaged credit have spent what they didn't have or spent too much. If you're maxing out, for example, you have an available amount of credit of $2,000 and you spend $1,900 every month, then your credit score is going to be affected poorly. It's not going to improve. People are going to see you as risky. Credit is supposed to be used like for purchases, money that you know will cover it, for example.
And that's like, even if you pay all of that money back before the next payment period, that still counts as utilization. You can't be like, oh, I'm gonna spend $2,000 out of $2,000, but I'm gonna pay it back in 2 days. No.
Yep.
That still counts.
Yep. So basically, what this is lenders aren't gonna want to lend you money if you have to utilize your credit. You should still have other sources of income. It's expected, obviously, you utilize credit when you need it, but they don't want to see you having to use all the credit that's available to you all the time. And then payment history, pretty plain and simple. You have to pay your payments on time. Creditors are going to see you as risky if you have late payments, missed payments, cards or accounts that have gone into a default. It's going to be harder for you to achieve credit or acquire credit.
Yep. And one thing I want to bring up is like, even like I'm on the car search, like you can say, oh, a car note, that's only $100 a month for 72 months. Like, and then at the end of that 72 months, you're paying $17,000 for a $5,000 car. Now, if you would have, I think one thing about budgeting is like delayed gratification.
Yes.
That's everything in life. All the best things in life are delayed gratification. And I feel like, oh, instead of going through the pain of having to pay that $100 car note every month for 5 years, why don't you pay, save that money, go without a car for 2 years, but save that money and be able to pay outright. And you don't ever have a car note, your insurance is lower, like all of that because you took the pain up front instead of waiting later to take the pain. And I think that's one thing that it's harder.
Yeah, just understanding what the penalties will be. A lot of people sign up for, like you said, a $5,000 car and end up paying so much more because they don't understand APR percentages. That is compound interest that's added on. The longer that you hold, the longer that it takes you to pay. So understanding that and how to navigate it is going to be huge for saving money, because a lot of people, obviously, not everybody can go without a car, go without a house, place to live. So there's some things you need, but understanding how it's going to affect you and setting a plan to pay off debt faster, paying off more than what the minimum amount is, not carrying the balance on your credit card that charges 24% for anything left over. Those are the types of things that will save you money down the line.
So I think we deserve one more subject on here.
Okay.
I think budgeting is kind of like maintaining, and credit is kind of like building and growing. And then one thing that's like very much every wealthy person has it is entrepreneurship. And being able to find something that they love that they didn't care to get paid for, and then somehow monetizing it. And it doesn't even have to be like, I think it's important to be able to have a creative outlet and not be pigeonholed into the rat race that we're all in right now. Like, I think it's important, like, to just have that entrepreneurship mindset and to be able to create an avenue of income for you, whether that be creating custom stickers or coaching, athletic training, or making weed beer or something. I was watching
a TV show.
Yeah, but anyways, like, I think it's so important to find another income source that like is completely from your output. Because I haven't had that many businesses. I've had some success, but like I didn't find passion in the business, so I stopped doing it. I think like the passion and the why behind it is so important, because like going after something because you want to make money, like you'll make that money, but you'll lose your soul. Like you won't think it's fun anymore. And like when you find the fun and you can put the money together, like that is like truly the key. And even without the money, like just having fun doing something and being able to have that joy, like you carry that with you wherever you go. And you can carry that joy with you into your corporate job. You can carry it with you into your relationships and your family. And I think it's so important to have some type of entrepreneurial mindset about something. you know?
I think that's huge. I mean, because we said it as a key when we talked about budgeting, maximizing your auxiliary funds. And, you know, climbing the corporate ladder, even with climbing the corporate ladder, there's going to be higher expectations of you, right? More hours that you put in. So that salary is going to come at a cost. You're going to have to sacrifice something, whether it's sleep, time with family, mental health time, whatever have you. So maximizing your auxiliary funds by finding a way to passive income, entrepreneurship, investing. You just want to find a way to where you're not relying on a single income stream, because you know that will leave you in the rat race forever. So whether it's entrepreneurship, in investing, like even just if you invest in certain stocks, they will pay you a dividend just for investing in that company. The more shares that you acquire over time, the more passive income you get just for putting your money behind that company. And so if you make good decisions there, that's another form of income that you can have. Entrepreneurship is so important because, like you said, a lot of, you know, what's ailing us today is the fact that we are a slave to our job. The job expects everything from us. We aren't given time, rest for ourselves, time to interact with family. But entrepreneurship, like Janae said, you find an outlet where you can use your God-given talents, exercise your God-given purpose, and get paid for doing it, and do it, you know, in the time frame that you want. It's so important to find a way to do that because it's going to give you that peace of mind. Like a lot of what I've been focused on lately is, you know, doing first of all something that matters, but also finding peace and worth in just existing. A lot of people, you know, feel that life is so difficult because, you know, we have to give so much. You're only what you've done or what you did at work or whatever have you. But, you know, I want to contribute something that I feel that God has given me internally to the world and say, okay, now we're going to give you money. You can live, spend your time how you want to. So yeah, that's definitely a huge key to wealth as well.
Yeah. And then like another thing when it comes to entrepreneurship is like you can't compare your journey to somebody else's because you're always gonna be like, dang, I'm 45 years old and I'm like,
that could be a key.
I'm 45 years old. It's too late for me to start a business. Like, no, like you always have your own, or like I'm too young, or I'm too ugly, or I'm too fat, or I'm too skinny. Like, there's never an excuse. You have your own unique perspective, and like anything, any journey, any goal in life, the only way for you to get there is for you to focus on that end goal and to take one step after the next. Like, you might not know what's gonna look a mile down the road, but you can see, you know, 2 feet in front of you, and you might as well take those 2 feet and see what the next 2 feet is looking for. Like, because like you got to start somewhere. You can't compare yourself to anybody, and if you stay focused and you keep taking inspired actions toward that goal, like it's only a matter of time. And it's that point, like time is only really a concept. Like if you think it's going to take you 50 years, it's going to take you 50 years. If you think it's going to take you 5 minutes, it's going to take you 5 minutes. So start that Instagram, start that YouTube page, write that book, you know, reach out to that person, make that phone call. Like literally nobody's going to live your life for you, and nobody knows what they're doing anyway. So you might as well make it up.
And I would say, honestly, not comparing yourself is a key within itself, because a lot of people mismanage their money because of jealousy or envy. And we live in the day of social media gratification. Where, you know, everybody is always highlighting the good. Nobody's highlighting the fight that they had at home because they couldn't pay for something. They're only highlighting the vacations and the luxury that they were spending. So a lot of people think that life is only highs, high after high, and you know, we're just caught chasing that. And it causes people to make bad money decisions, understanding that you are where you are and you need to walk your own path will save you so much heartache and pain and financial trouble if you aren't looking to what other people are doing. Oh, they just went on that beautiful vacation, we have to go on a vacation now. No, you have to stay in your lane and know that, have you budgeted for this? Is it something you can financially do right now? And then sure, by all means, but don't overextend yourself just because you see what somebody has and you want to chase after it.
Yeah. And before we make it too long, I do want to go back to what you said. And you were like, Huh?
Okay.
When you
would
were
that
like, I just want to find peace and joy by just existing.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's truly the key. Like, what can you do right now to make your everyday life, like, romanticize your life? Like, if you're making a cup of coffee, you know, get the nice glass. Get you a little straw. Put some ice in that mug, you know. Get out the whisk. Get some whipped coffee. Pour some almond milk. You know, sit out on the porch and watch the sunset, like, or the sunrise.
ASMR.
Yeah. Do what you need to do.
Yeah. Absolutely. And they say, like, when it comes to entrepreneurship especially, don't think about the financial gain that you'll get out of it. Kind of going back to that thing. I heard somebody say that you will only be successful in something that you can do and not get paid for it. So, like, for example, I love talking about subjects like this. It's a passion of mine, a goal of mine to improve the world, leave it better for those than I experienced, especially when it comes to people that look like me. So we're not getting paid for any of this to do this, but I love doing this and I'm going to continue to do it. And money may come out of it one day, whatever have you, but I'm going to continue and strive to do this because it's my passion and my joy. And you will only be successful in the things that you approach like that.
Yep. So, all right, guys, I hope you got something out of this. If you did, definitely subscribe and comment whatever you want to comment. Say hi. We'll say hi back. But yeah, guys, signing off from Black Vision Network.
Peace.